Sometimes the car gets quiet in a way that feels almost personal. It's 8:20 at night, and a delivery driver is sitting in the front seat after the last drop-off. The old seat cushion smells a little like dust, rain, and long shifts. One hand rests on the worn steering wheel while short bands of streetlight slide across the windshield. Why would a person talk to a car like it understands? What may be happening is a quiet bond with the thing that carried you through days nobody else fully saw. This is a look at why we sometimes talk to our cars as if they were our only friends. It can sound strange from the outside. A person gets into a car, sighs, and says, "All right, let's get through this." Or they pat the dashboard after a rough start. Or they whisper, "Come on, don't do this to me," when the engine hesitates at a red light. But inside the moment, it doesn't feel strange. It feels natural. Talking to a car is not always about believing the car is alive. Often, it is about giving your feelings somewhere to land. The car becomes the one place that hears everything without interrupting, judging, correcting, or asking you to explain it better. One common reason is that the car is present during the parts of life other people rarely witness. People see the delivery at the door. They see the food bag, the package, the quick smile, the tired, "Thank you." They may not see the 10 minutes after, when you close the door, sit back down, and let your face fall. The car is there for the tiny collapse between one task and the next. So over time, it stops being just transportation and starts feeling like the only witness to the version of you that doesn't perform. Sometimes, it comes from spending long hours in a space that asks very little from you. A car does not ask for the right tone. It does not make the silence awkward. It does not care if you talk out loud, repeat the same complaint, or sit there without words. When life keeps asking for smiles, updates, speed, patience, and polite replies, that small cabin can feel like the one room where nothing else is demanded. So you might speak to the dashboard the way someone else speaks into a dark kitchen after a long day. There's also a quieter reason. Tools can become companions when they hold the weight of survival. For a delivery driver, the car is not just a car. It is the bridge between rent, dinner, gas money, and the next morning. It carries small worries in the cup holder, unpaid thoughts in the glove box, and the sound of work in every turn signal. When something helps you keep going for long enough, your mind can start treating it with tenderness. Not because the object can love you back, but because it has stayed beside you through the parts of life where staying mattered. It's late, maybe a little after 8:20, at the edge of a quiet parking area near a closed storefront. The last delivery is done. The phone has gone still for the first time in hours. The driver turns the key off, but doesn't open the door yet. Outside, the station looks almost empty. A trash bag moves a little in the wind. Somewhere far off, a car passes and disappears. Inside, the worn steering wheel sits warm under one hand, and the seat makes a tired sound when the body shifts. Nothing dramatic happens. No big scene. No sudden breakdown. Just that small, strange moment when a familiar thing becomes heavy with meaning. The driver looks at the dashboard and says, very softly, "We made it." And maybe that sounds like a joke. But it isn't only a joke. It is gratitude. It is exhaustion. It is the quiet relief of getting through one more day without anyone really asking what it cost. If you've been there, you're not strange. You might know someone who lives like this. This is what attachment to a tool can look like when that tool has carried more than its basic job. It does not begin with drama. It begins with repetition. The same seat. The same route. The same hand on the same worn part of the wheel. The same late-night engine hum after a hard day. A car becomes familiar in a way people sometimes are not. It knows the version of you that mutters, laughs once for no clear reason, argues with a memory, or sits in silence before going inside. And that is part of why the bond can feel so private. With people, there is always a little translation. You choose the words. You soften the story. You leave out the part that sounds too small. You explain why the day felt heavy even though nothing terrible happened. But with the car, there is no translation. You can say, "I'm tired," and that can be the whole sentence. You can say, "Not today, please," when the engine makes a sound you don't like. You can say, "Thank you," after a long shift, and maybe a part of you knows the car is not answering. But another part of you may still feel answered by the quiet. And there's something else here that isn't talked about enough. Many people are surrounded by noise, but not always surrounded by presence. Messages come in. Apps buzz. Customers rate. Bills wait. Family asks. Work keeps moving. But presence is different from noise. Presence is the feeling that something is with you while you are being real. For some people, the car becomes that place by accident. It is where they cry once and then wipe their face before walking into the house. It is where they rehearse a hard conversation but never send the message. It is where they eat fries alone at 9:03 in the front seat because the apartment feels too quiet and the restaurant felt too bright. It is where they sit for 2 extra minutes because stepping out means becoming someone again. That is why the little conversations happen. Come on, old girl. Please get me home. Look at us, still going. I know, these lines may sound silly, but they carry something tender. They turn loneliness into a two-person scene, even when only one person is there. They make the space feel less empty. They give the tired mind a listener that won't turn away. There is also a small kind of loyalty in it. When a car has been there through early shifts, late shifts, bad weather, wrong turns, empty stretches of road, and quiet rides home, it becomes part of the story. Not the whole story. Not a person. But not nothing either. That middle place is hard to explain. It is not pretend in a childish way. It is not confusion. It is a human habit. We place feeling into the things that travel with us. A mug can feel like a morning. A jacket can feel like an old version of yourself. A chair can feel like a parent who is gone. A car can feel like the only steady thing in a season where everything else kept moving. So when someone talks to their car, they may be speaking to the miles, the close calls, the late nights, the small wins, the almost giving up moments, and the simple fact that this machine was there. It can help to notice what you are really saying when you talk to the car. Sometimes the words are about the car, but the feeling is about the day. Don't quit on me might mean, I'm scared I can't afford one more problem. We made it might mean, I didn't think I had anything left. Just get me home might mean, I want one place where I can stop being useful. Hearing the meaning under the words can make the habit feel less embarrassing and more understandable. It may also help to let the car be a small pause, not the only place where your real self exists. After the last delivery, maybe the hand stays on the wheel for a moment. Maybe the driver names one thing out loud, that was a long one. Maybe there is one slow breath before the door opens. Not as a ritual. Not as a lesson. Just as a way of letting the day end in the body before the next place begins. Because the car can hold a lot. But no object can carry every part of a person forever. That doesn't make the bond wrong. It just makes it human. We attach to what stays close. We speak to what keeps showing up. We give names, moods, patience, and personality to the things that help us keep going when life feels thin. So maybe the question is not, why do we talk to our cars? Maybe the softer question is, what did the car hear when no one else was around? The answer might be ordinary. A tired voice after the final shift. A small thank you at a stoplight. A joke made to no one. A quiet plea on a bad road. A person trying to feel less alone inside a familiar space. This is for people who seem independent, but have learned to place tenderness into the things that carried them. And if you talk to your car, maybe it doesn't mean you are strange. Maybe it means you have lived many quiet moments with only the engine, the windshield, the road, and the part of you that still wanted someone there.